This is Monday Night Raw May 26, 2025 full show results video which takes place at Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman make their entrance and get on the mic. Heyman begins, putting Braun Breaker over as the man of the future, the guy who's gonna main event the next dozen WrestleManias, and Bronson Reed is a man who WWE management and top-tier talent here were afraid of, because he's too reckless, a violent man in a PG era who's going to put everyone down in front of him. So Reed took the initiative and he targeted the franchise player and the future of the industry, Seth Rollins. In one night he put a worse beating on Seth than Roman Reigns or CM Punk ever could, and so Paul continues to put him over as the be-all, end-all of WWE today and demands the crowd acknowledge him. Rollins says he's the only person who can handle the power here, and power here is championships, and if it wasn't for Sami Zayn and CM Punk he would be standing here right now as your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And he's discovered the object that lets him control the fate of championships, and he looks up and the camera pans to show the Money in the Bank briefcases hanging from the ceiling. He says he's going to Money in the Bank, he's gonna win and he's gonna cash in, whenever he wants and however he wants and on whomever he wants, and no one can stop him. That is complete domination, total power, and why he is a revolutionary and a visionary and so on and so forth. Then we saw a Money in the Bank qualifying match between Chad Gable vs Dragon Lee vs Penta, and the result of this match was Penta won the match when Gable hits huge belly-to-belly suplex on Dragon Lee, the Kingo gets up on the apron and clobbers him with an Enzwajiri, then Lee takes advantage, Tree of Woe double stomp, Penta hits a flip piledriver on him, grabs Chad, and delivered Penta driver on Chad Gable, gets the pinfall, and qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. We cut to the Judgment Day Clubhouse where Carlito and Dominic Mysterio are playing WWE 2K25 when Roxanne Perez rolls up with a tray of nuggies and a shoulder rub right as Liv Morgan returns with a loud "Kenichi was bitches." Roxanne tries to introduce herself but Liv shushes her and asks Mysterio what's going on before saying it's fine. Raquel Rodriguez has been keeping her informed. Some things have been very interesting and she'll address that later, but first she's going to Adam Pearce to get a Money in the Bank qualifier. Dom asks if it's great to have Liv back and everyone agrees except Carlito tells him he's gotta stop trying to eat Roxanne's nuggets. The next match happened between Akira Tozawa vs Rusev, and the result of this match was Rusev defeated Akira Tozawa by submission with the accolade. Post-match, Rusev falls back into a sleeper hold as referee Jessica Carr tries to break it up, but Sheamus makes the save. He and the Redeemer have a stare down, a crooked smile on Rusev's face, and in the end Rusev makes the first move, turning and leaving without taking his eyes off the Celtic Warrior. Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer are interviewed backstage because apparently they had Cody Rhodes on their podcast, so now they're here to have a great time. Kreischer plugs his Netflix show and runs off to do something or other while Segura plugs his show until we hear Bert hollering. The camera goes over and Kreischer has his shirt off next to the War Raiders hollering about how they look like cousins. There's some blad handing and the War Raiders leave with Kreischer just a terrible uncomfortable looking shade of red. Back from the commercial, Sami Zayn cuts a promo and says he can't stand hearing Seth Rollins talk and he should have been out there to do something. Jey Uso appears and asks him for what? To run into 1-on-3 odds. No, they have to be smart, and if Sami wants to take the power, he needs the Money in the Bank briefcase and Uso says he has his back, Zayn accepts, and they secret handshake. The next match happened between Creed Brothers vs New Day vs War Raiders for the WWE World Tag Team Championship, and the result of this match was New Day won the match by pinfall, with a roll-up Xavier Woods on a Creed, retaining the WWE World Tag Team Championship. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are walking together when they run into Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Morgan mocks them, asking if it's a Damage Control reunion, but Sky tells her to keep walking. Liv says she's gonna keep walking right into Adam Pearce's office and get herself a qualifying match so she can do what Kairi can't and win Money in the Bank. Sane gets in her face and challenges her to a match, and Morgan accepts. Back from the commercial, main event Jey Uso gets on the mic and says it's been a busy week for the champ, and Logan Paul got yeeted on and John Cena's about to get yeeted on, because it Money in the Bank, and then comes Gunther. He gets on the mic and says he came out here first of all to congratulate Jey Uso, and this one comes from a very personal place. First he congratulates him on 15 years of the Usos in WWE and secondly, congratulations on his first successful title defense. He was able to be a champion for almost a year because he is the only person he cares about, and if he's fully honest, he doesn't think Uso has the intellect to carry himself as a great champion. And in 2 weeks when they step in the ring one more time he's gonna relieve him of his position, make things right, choke him out and take the title back where it belongs, around his waist. Uso says he's done with everybody using the title as an excuse to turn their back on the people that brought them up. He's a real one and he's got friends and family and they fight for him and he for them. Gunther wants to run his mouth on his life and judge him? Go ahead, because when all is said and done, in 2 weeks, he's retaining the title. The next match happened between Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan, and the result of this match was Kairi Sane defeated Liv Morgan when Roxanne Perez comes for interference. She and Raquel Rodriguez bicker and Kairi takes advantage of the distraction and counters Oblivion, and Kairi Sane won the match by pinfall with an over-rotated schoolboy pin. We get a Rhea Ripley video promo where she says she hasn't been feeling very on top lately, but she's gonna change that by winning Money in the Bank. Back from the commercial, Liv Morgan is furious in the Judgment Day Clubhouse and Raquel Rodriguez tries to blame Roxanne Perez, but Liv tells her she's the veteran and she should have done better. Lyra Valkyria makes her entrance and gets on the mic and says she wishes she was here to tell us about a new contender to her title, but Becky Lynch did what she does and once again she talked herself into a rematch at Money in the Bank. Lyra says she didn't feel any satisfaction beating Becky at Backlash because her ego is still through the roof, no embarrassment or sense of shame at being beaten, and she sat on the turnbuckles and talked like she won the match, like a rat with a piece of cheese. Now it's personal, and at Money in the Bank, she's going to break Becky Lynch's ego even if she has to smash her head in to do it. Then comes Becky Lynch and says she was done with Lyra and she was on to bigger and better things, and sure, she won the match, but she won the fight and Becky went home with her hot husband while Lyra went to the hospital with her weird fiancé. Valkyria says Seth is the most talented thing about her. Lynch fires back that she's getting Lyra spoken about, but Valkyria points out they're talking because she beat her. Becky offers up the notion that if she loses she'll never challenge for the title again, but if she wins, Lyra has to raise her hand in victory. Valkyria says she's never had a problem raising somebody's hand after she beat her, it's just that that's never been Lynch yet and they have a stare down and that's that. Sami Zayn runs into Karrion Kross backstage and Kross plays his little mind games. Sami says he has no time for them. Karrion tells him he's never gonna win the title and Zayn goes back and gets in his face to tell him he'll deal with him later. In the main event of the show, we saw a Money in the Bank qualifying match between Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. In the end, we see Sami lines up the hell of a kick, Finn intercepts, shotgun dropkick on both of them, coup de grace, nobody home, blackout, hits hell of a kick, then Braun Breaker pulls Sami Zayn off of the pin. He and Bronson Reed put boots to Sami, but Jey Uso makes the save. Dominic Mysterio introduces a chair to try and help Balor, but Seth capitalizes on it instead, and hits blackout, and won the match by pinfall, and qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Post-match, Cult of Personality hits and Braun go up the aisle, but CM Punk comes through the crowd and hits Go to Sleep on Seth. Punk beats a hasty retreat out through the crowd, stands tall, and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's Monday Night Raw? Tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching.